may be winding down, but things are heating up on the WWE Network this week. Probably not one of the better lines you fed me for an intro. I just want to say that to let you know that. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Yeah, it's late at night, and it's all downhill. It's all downhill from here, folks. Yeah, so we're gonna crack a cold one. I don't even know what the hell we're drinking tonight. What is this? Peach Arita, Bud Light, Peach Arita. Is that like a potato Rito? The Taco Bell thing? This probably tastes a lot better. Whatever. Alright, so we're just trying this out. Ooh, that is tasty. Alright, we're going to talk some Mae Young Classic. The first 4 episodes just dropped on the WWE Network, like I said. And I binge watched all 4, took some notes on who won, who lost, whatever. And, I'm not going to break down every single match or whatever. If you want that, I'm not that kind of analyzer. I'm just going to talk about who some of my favorites were, and, if I could pick one to win this, even though my bracket is already completely busted up. But pleasantly surprised at what we've seen so far. We'll go over each of the days here and pick out some of the favorites and just talk about it a little bit. I was planning on doing this on the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast, the sidebar edition coming up tomorrow night, which would be Wednesday night, depending on when you're watching this. But I messaged the guys, and it doesn't sound like any of them have watched this yet. So, as much as I was planning to discuss this with them, probably not going to happen. So that's why I'm doing it on here, because stuff that I talk about with them, I don't often repeat on here. As far as certain topics, results, whatever, depending on what it is. All right, so let's get into this. The Mae Young Classic. 32? Holy cow. 4 matches each episode, 32 women. Wow. Just overall, not every match was like knockdown, drag out, like eye-popping action. I think the last episode, I didn't pay quite as much attention to a couple of the matches on there. But overall, I was very happy to see this variety of women from all over the world, the UK, Australia, Japan, everywhere, represented in this. It's just so well put together. And I've been, there's been a lot of different bracket type things going on over the course of the summer. I think Shine had one for their new Nova Championship. That was fun to watch. That was over the course of 2 episodes. Was that beginning of summer? The Cueto Cup, part of Lucha Underground. I've been covering that very closely. And the big one that a lot of people were talking about, and I just, I just haven't followed it closely. I've heard who's won and who lost and whatnot, but haven't really watched much of it, is the New Japan Pro Wrestling. Sorry, I'm laughing at my kitten over here. The New Japan, what's it called? The G1 bracket. It was like, 20-some episodes? It's crazy. That's it takes some dedication to follow all that. Holy cow, that's a lot to do. And getting towards the end of summer now, we still got a lot to look forward to. This, they shot it several weeks ago, and the winners have already been put out there, but I have done my best to stay away from it. So all the matches that I've seen, with the exception of a couple GIFs on YouTube while it was happening, unfortunately, I'll get into that in a bit. It was all new and exciting to me. So most of these girls I have not seen before. There's a few that have been featured on NXT. Sorry, just keeping an eye on my cat. She's a spunky one. Forgot what I was saying. Darn cats. But hey, let's get into each of these episodes. It started out with what are the ones I was looking forward to seeing, and the ones I had seen before. It's not like I followed their whole career. I only had maybe seen a handful at most, of matches from the ones featured in the Mae Young Classic. The ones I had seen were like Kaylee Ray. I've seen a couple. Let's see. Shayna Baszler, I've seen one of her matches. Abby Lath. And I can't remember what she used to be called in the Indies. I was looking that up recently. I can't remember. Anyways, who else here? Oh, Marty Bell and Mia Yim. They were both in TNA, so I've seen some of their matches before. Rachel Evers or Ellering, some of her stuff. Tessa Blanchard, was really looking forward to seeing her. She is something else. Who else? Oh, from NXT, Lacey Evans, and who else have I seen? Oh, one of the first ones here, Abby Lath is also in NXT. There's a handful of these women who are in NXT. They already have developmental contracts down there in Florida, and from what I've heard, I think they're touring. Some of these were just brought in for the tournament, and I hope to God, depending on how the tournament goes, of course, I hope they sincerely do bring some of these back, either create some kind of show for the women on a network maybe, or just bring in like half of them and shake up NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. And just bring in a whole crop load of women, and maybe get rid of, you don't want to see anybody fired, but maybe get rid of some of the ones who we just haven't seen forever. Okay, we lost Eva Marie. No big loss. Summer Rae, I'm not sure what she's been up to. I think she was injured. Maybe they're just biding their time on that one. Paige, we don't know what's going on with her. So there's a certain amount of women that I think they could probably lose in the WWE, and it wouldn't necessarily be missed too much. So let's go over some of this. Kaylee Ray, I was looking forward to seeing her, because I've seen her in a few Lucha Forever matches, and that's over in the UK. It's Will Ospreay's independent company, and I've seen a few of those shows, 3 or 4 of those shows, some bigger, some smaller, and a lot of different women featured in them. One that was supposed to be featured in this was, now I can't remember her name. Doggone it. I'll think of it. It'll come to me. But Kaylee Ray went up against Princessa Su. If I didn't hear it on the show, I would have mispronounced it, so I'm glad I watched it closely. It's Su Hay. It looks like Sujit, but it's Suhei. This one surprised me. I heard that Suhei was a multi-year veteran, like a 20-year veteran or something like that. Kaylee Ray also has been around for a while, but I didn't remember how long. So, but yeah, Suhei won. Really surprised me. Serena Deeb was great seeing her back in the WWE for this, and she won, beating Vanessa Bourne. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Serena Deeb goes in this. You know, she may not make it past the second round, but to see her win that first match, that comeback match, was kind of emotional. You know, it's I know it surely meant something to her. And this next one, my goodness, I did not catch the name of the girl she went up against. In fact, I could quick look at the listing here. Oh, her name is Zeta. She's from China. She went up against Shayna Baszler. Holy cow, is Shayna Baszler. She tapped her out. And no handshake in the beginning of the match. She is all business in the ring. MMA background, tied closely with Ronda Rousey amongst the what do they call it? The Four Horsewomen. Man, she is a legitimate badass, and was pleasantly surprised to see how tough she really was. I mean, the striking ability was just unbelievable. So she's through to the next round. And if I look at, I'm going to quick open up this bracket. I didn't want to do that. I'm trying to see who's going to face who. So, well, let's talk about the next match, and then I'll try to break down some of this as far as who's facing who in the next round. I'll do that last. Abby Lath, talked to her a bit. I've seen her before out of the indie scene, along with Jazzy Gabbert from Germany. Wow, just seeing the promos for Jazzy leading up to this was nothing more than like eye-popping. Like, yeah, me being older, I've seen movies like Rocky IV, and the first thing I thought of was Dolph Lundgren when he faced Rocky. It's the first thing I thought of when I saw Jazzy. Maybe her hairstyle is part of the inspiration and the way she looks. But wow, you know, I was that would have been the first big shocker. That would have been my bracket buster. I would have picked Jazzy to win, and would have liked to seen her go on to face someone like Shayna Baszler in a finals, you know, something like that. Was absolutely, I mean, it was tremendous. That was probably my favorite match of either that or Shayna Baszler's match against Zeta. One of those two matches would have been my favorite one to see in the first episode. Next episode, Shine or Shimmer veteran Mercedes Martinez. Was good to see her. Have not seen her a lot before, but I know she's been around. Against Xia Li, and it was her first professional wrestling match. She's from China. She represented China, So I was not expecting to see much out of her, and she was athletic. She moved okay in the ring, but yeah, I knew she wasn't gonna go too far. So Mercedes won that one, and Rachel Evers against Marty Bell. I was torn on this one because it was good to see Marty Bell in there, but I was also rooting for Rachel Evers. So I really didn't, when the match started, I really didn't pick one because I knew both, or was at least familiar with both. And Rachel won that one. Rhea Ripley versus Miranda Salinas. Didn't really have an opinion on that one. Wasn't very familiar with either of them. Maya Yim, another former TNA girl, against someone who's coming up in NXT. I believe I've seen a few promos for her. Sarah Logan won the match by Eat Defeat. Maybe a little nod to former in-ring inspiration and Gail Kim, possibly. Just a guess there. But Mia Yim going on to win that one. As far as the favorite from this episode, kind of hard to say. I'd probably say Rachel Evers. It was fun seeing her in the ring. And interesting that she's not. I mean, they said that she's the daughter of Ellering, and it's always interesting when they change the name. They used to do it all the time back in the day, and then over the years they slowly let you keep your name, for obvious reasons. Whatever the contract was. CM Punk kept his and whatnot. Samoa Joe's kept his. Different people have kept their names. So, interesting. Next episode, Mae Young Classic episode 3. This was a girl I was looking forward to seeing, because I've seen a few of her matches before. Very charismatic in the ring, especially her entrance and her in-ring look. Toni Storm. And her entrance theme sounds like it was straight out of the Motley Crue catalog. In fact, her look was inspired by Motley Crue from what I read that somewhere within the last few days. Very interesting with the way the patch was on the back of the jacket, the Nikki Sixx marks of makeup underneath the eye, inspired there. Against Aisha Raymond. Toni Storm won that one. I think she's another one of my favorites to go pretty far in this, I would have to say. Dakota Kai against Kavita Devi. I don't want to mispronounce these. I think I said that right. Dakota Kai winning that one. Wow. She, I think, I'm probably not the only one to think this opinion. Excuse me, but she reminded me a lot of Bayley. Reminded me a lot of Bayley, but a lot more aggressive, a lot tougher. She, like I said, it looks like that girl next door, but then she'll kick your head off like Sami Zayn from across the ring. Just wow, that finisher. Absolutely explosive. Sage Beckett versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair winning with a spear and using her hair as a weapon. It's very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before. Not illegal because it's a part of you, I guess. I don't know. Just really different. And Santana Garrett versus someone. I was looking forward to seeing both these girls. I had the chance to see Santana Garrett live and meet her a few summers ago, and I've mentioned this. If you follow me for a while, you know where. the Global Force Wrestling when it was touring a couple summers ago. Went to Appleton, Wisconsin. I had a chance to meet her. She faced Melanie Cruz in a match, and just very, very nice. Very nice to meet her. She faced in this Piper Niven. And I've seen her in a handful of matches in Lucha Forever and other UK related independent shows. And she's, you want to describe her and not insult her at the same time. She's a big girl, okay? She's not your typical girl that you see, in all these matches. But she's so talented. And just from what I've seen before in the Lucha Forever times from before, I couldn't wait to see her. And this was definitely one of my favorite matches to see so far of the Mae Young Classic. I like Santana Garrett, but I feel like she's already like a part of NXT from what I've heard. I'm pretty sure she's got the contract. So to see Piper come in and win this, I don't know how far she'll go, but nonetheless, it was great to see her win this first round. It really was. She's really, I would love to see Piper versus someone like, I don't know. Probably Natalya would be my favorite one to watch out of that. If I had to pick someone from the main roster, it'd be great to see. Last episode of the 4, Renee Michelle versus Candice LeRae, and the second rule neck breaker. Wow, that's something I have not seen much before as far as a finisher. I've seen a handful of matches before over the years for Candice LeRae, and she's really, namely ones where she really took a beating from like the Young Bucks or something like that, or she tagged with Joey Ryan. She had that online series. I hope they give Candice LeRae a contract, and not just because of Johnny Gargano. Are they married? Is that his wife? I think that's his wife. I think they were chanting Mrs. Wrestling during the match. That was kind of funny because they called Johnny Gargano Johnny Wrestling or Mr. Wrestling. So yeah, great to see Candice LeRae take this one. She's, an in-ring veteran in the Indies. And if anybody deserves it, it's her. I can see her going pretty far, probably somewhere in the next couple rounds. I don't know if she's going to go all the way. It's really hard for me to see who's going to take this one. I have an idea, and I'll get to that in a bit. But let's get into the next one. Someone who's under the NXT banner, Lacey Evans, former Marine. Very interesting, classic women's look from like the 30s or 40s. Was interesting to see her against Tanara Conti. Didn't think too much of her, but nonetheless. Nicole Savoy. This one I really didn't. I kind of tuned out for. No offense against the women. I just didn't know them. Nicole Savoy versus Reina Gonzalez. Nicole Savoy won that one. Tessa Blanchard versus Kairi Sane. That one, I can see why they saved that one for last. Obviously, the classic saying, you save the best for last. I've heard a lot of buzz about Kairi Sane over the last several weeks, especially leading up to the tapings of this. I did not know Tessa Blanchard was going to be a part of this. I'm glad she was. I've been looking forward to seeing her become part of the WWE. obviously her, her other, her they call her, call the female the better half. I don't know what they call the guy in a relationship, but nonetheless, Ricochet is her boyfriend, and I'm sure he'll stop by the WWE someday, somewhere within the next year as well. Hopefully, we'll see. Excuse me. But yeah, obviously Tessa Blanchard being on the WWE radar, and I don't know if she's under contract. I don't know if she was just brought in for this, but her, and she would have been one that I would have picked to win had she not gone against Kairi Sane. I saw one match before, and I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. I don't remember all the content from it. And I'm talking about the 3-on-1 where the three women faced Pentagon Jr. and Lucha Underground from the finale from Season 2, which would have been, a year ago now? Last summer, I believe that aired. I'd have to go back and watch that again. She was part of it, okay? And that was my introduction to her. And I know that she's part of the Stardom, or was part of the Stardom roster over in Japan, which actually is where Piper Niven is right now, knocking him dead. And so yeah, Kairi Sane wins that one, and that elbow. Everyone's talking about the elbow, and it's not okay. I wore this for a reason. The Macho Man shirt. Everyone thinks of, elbow off the top rope. The first person you usually think of, especially if you're my age, a classic finisher would be Macho Man. Her elbow is nothing like Macho Man's elbow, okay? A lot of elbows are done so that a majority of the weight hits the mat and only your elbow hits the guy in the chest. The way she does it, her whole body hits you, including her elbow, or, across her, opponent, with her legs sticking like straight up in the air. I've never seen anyone do an elbow off the top rope like this before, and that was one of the that was one of the unfortunate spoilers I saw in people revealing finishes. Well, because of her finisher, but when she faced Tessa Blanchard during the tapings, that was one of the things that I saw on Twitter was spoiled for me, unfortunately. So even going into this, I was excited to see Tessa, but I already unfortunately knew who was going to win this one. The rest of them I really didn't know, but this is the only one that I knew the finish for. So that's the first. That's the first 16 matches. A lot of knockdown, drag out, great matches in this. Some, like I said, some I kind of tuned out for. I just wasn't familiar with them, so I, paid more attention to others. And that's not. I'm not trying to insult them. I just didn't know them as well. And we may get to know them very well over the next several weeks. Who knows? Or in the future in NXT and, on the main roster. You never know. But in the next round, this is how it's going to go. And, this is going to get crazy. So, I'm looking at the bracket right now. So it's going to be Abby Lath versus Rachel Evers. That, I cannot wait to see that one. Princess Sue Hay versus Mercedes Martinez. It's going to be another classic, I'm telling you. Sue Hay is so interesting because she's like, 5 foot nothing? She's so short, but she's so tough, It's crazy. Mercedes is a tall girl, too. 6 foot, whatever. The next one. Who? Oh, okay. Nicole Savoy won that one versus Candice LeRae. If I had to pick someone, I'd pick Candice LeRae for that one. Next one would be Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler. Oh man, Shayna Baszler is another one of those. I think she's going to go almost all the way in this. She is so tough. It's so badass. It's almost. I was shocked to see how, I don't want to say violent, but how matter of fact her moves were in the ring. Just crazy. On the other side of the bracket for the next round, we are going to see Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair. I think Kairi Sane is going to be another one that's going to go all the way to the other side of the bracket. Dakota Kai. Did she win that one? Yes, she did. Sorry. Dakota Kai is going to face Rhea Ripley. She's another one they said was a veteran in the ring, and I'm just not familiar with her. What else here? Oh, okay. Serena Deeb going to the bottom part of the bracket versus Piper Niven. Wow, that's a tough one. That really is, because I'm happy that Serena Deeb is back, and it's it's a comeback story for her. So it's nice to see. She's very good in the ring. But man, Piper Niven, I'd love to see her go through to the semifinals. So that's a tough one. That really is. Lacey Evans out of NXT in the next round is going to face Toni Storm. Wow. That's a tough one, folks. Lacey Evans is good, but I don't know. Toni Storm might have that edge on her. I'd have to give that one to Toni Storm. And then from there, who knows? There's who knows where this is going to go. But nonetheless, over the next, however, I don't know when the next round is going to be on. Sometime in September, I think. If I had to guess, I'd have to look. If you know, leave it in the comments. I hope they're going to be live too. The next few rounds. Man, this is going to be some of the best women's wrestling featured in the WWE ever. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here, who gets contracts to stay, But Triple H is not a dumb businessman. When he sees talent, he did a great job with the Cruiserweight Classic, and I want to see him do something tremendous with this too. So, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know who you think is going to be in the finals. Tell me about your bracket. Was it busted up early? Like mine was. I just that Jazzy Gabbert losing just completely. Wow, that just blew me away. But definitely one of the best first matches of the first round, I'd say. So yeah, tell me in the comments who you think is going to win. Who are some of your favorites? Talk to me. Let me know your thoughts. What you thought of the Mae Young Classic so far in the first 4 episodes. Did you like it? Did you kind of tune out for it? What did you think of it? Let me know. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Give it a like. Give it a sub if you like what you're watching. Also, go follow me with the rest of the Ringside Ramblers. Go to the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast on YouTube. No G's. rambling about wrestling. We do weekly shows, usually Wednesday nights, either predictions or news stories, depending on what's coming up the following week. So that's it for this one. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you for the next one. Probably going to be Lucha Underground review. We'll try to get it done Thursday night. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.